Welcome back to the Football Terrace, another episode of the Done Deal Show. Today, Manchester United will formally complete the deal for Lisandro Martinez. It was done yesterday, it was over the line, but the media is telling us that today is the day of the announcement. Maybe not the official shirt unveiling, that doesn't really matter, but here we go, there you go, it's signed, sealed, delivered, and nothing can go wrong. We are talking to you this morning about that, plus Kimpembe, advanced talks to Chelsea, official bid submitted, and Arsenal, they are pursuing Lucas Paqueta. The fee has been set at around 55 million euros. Will a move be made by Arsenal? They are the trending stories this morning. We want your thoughts. We want your feelings. Man, I had a bit of a Twitter row last night as well with a lot of gooners over Lisandro Martinez. I think it all kind of kicked off because of Mark Verveil's words that Arsenal were turned down yesterday, as opposed to pulling away. Again, this is what I said to you all summer, people. Every fan base has got a percentage of their fans that are the same. Man United included, we are no different. The idea of rejection is too much to handle. Man United fans can't take that we got rejected by Darwin. Arsenal fans last night couldn't take that they got rejected by Lisandro Martinez. It is what it is. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. But I want to speak to you all this morning. Chelsea doing more madnesses. Obviously, we released that video last night, but it was a pre-recorded. I want to speak to you about things today. Get your questions in. Good morning, Josh. Hope you're well. Morning, Victor. By the way, if we hit 850 likes while we're live, I will gift out more memberships. We're not hitting these numbers. What people are doing is, it's weird. You lot wait to the end, and then I say, right, we're ending it now. We haven't hit the numbers. You start hitting it. You don't know when I'm going to end. No set time. So get the likes in early so you get your free memberships. Get it done, my people. Morning, Charlie Hughes. Hope you're well. Hope you're good. Ilyas, I think that's pronounced. Big up to you as well. I hope you're good, my friend. I hope you are doing good. Morning, Charlie. Morning, my friend. Morning to Aaron. Hope you're good. David's in the house. Hope you're well, my friend. I do. Who? I used to love Keegan and Kel as a kid. I really, really do. I really, really did. Doing a madness, what buying City leftovers? Oh, God. City fans, you know how, well, listen, okay, Nathan Ake kind of get a bit of a leftover maybe. But the Raheem the Dream, come on now. One of the most prolific attackers in Premier League football over the last 5 to 6 years. You're gonna miss him. I think you'll miss him. Not that doesn't mean you won't win league titles, but I think you'll miss him. He's that good a player. Josh here says, if Arsenal get Paqueta, I'll be fuming. He's quality. Again, it's not a weird one to me. I've watched the footage I've seen of him. Again, I've been using Wirescout on Paqueta for a few days now. I've looked at a lot of elements of his game. He's serious, man. If Arsenal pull this deal off, it is a sensational piece of business. If Arsenal were able to do it, truly will be sensational. There's no doubt. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Ronald here says, I will miss Sterling. He was heavily underrated. Of course. And he's still underrated now. And I think that there's a lot of people that are assuming that Raheem Sterling goes to Chelsea, his goals and his assists and his creativity and his impact on games dissipates. It was the Pep Guardiola system. People are ignoring the fact that he plays so well consistently in a Gareth Southgate system for England. Are we now suggesting that Gareth Southgate's system and training and style is the same as Pep's? That's why Raheem Sterling. Come on now, see, the problem is with these fake gender-driven arguments, they never win. That's why no one can ever beat me in a debate. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. Lots of people beat me in debates. Not really. They may think they're beating me, but they never debunk my point. But do you know what it is? I never make a point that I can't back up with facts. And unless you can give me better facts than my facts, you can't win. It's impossible. And it's funny, really, because it's like the Lisandro Martinez thing. I'm not suggesting he hasn't played at left back. I'm saying that. So I spoke to some Ajax fans last night, and it's what the Ajax fans were telling me. They went, he did play at left back, but he got dropped because he was bad in that position. He then got moved into DM and eventually got dropped because he wasn't very good in that position. Got moved to centre back, and essentially Ten Hag was like, that's your position. Wow, look how good you are. So to my point, I don't think anyone was buying him to be a left back. That may be what they briefed the media with. So I'm not discrediting the Athletic for writing it. But this is where you can see a credible outlet write something, but you can still have your own brain. You can still have your own thoughts, in my opinion. But there we go. That's just my take, really. 1 second. I'll update something on here. There we go. There we go. Sorry, just updating something. Boom. There we go. But that's just my side of things. Dennis here says, but Arsenal wanted him because he plays all positions. Again, though, but Dennis, this is why I'm questioning it. It's not I'm questioning what the Athletic have said. The Athletic have been told that by an Arsenal source and they're printing it. But this is where even when you read an article or when you read a statement from a manager or a player, you can still use your own brain to think beyond what they're saying. So when I hear Erik ten Hag say he's very happy with the Man United squad, I don't believe him. I don't think he's being a liar or malicious. I think he's saying that to keep the peace. Do you know how I know he's not completely happy with this squad? Because over the next 3 to 4 years, if he's here, he'll sell a lot of these players and buy new ones, which means his early comments, he's happy with this squad, are not true. So, and that's my point. We all hear things. We all hear things that are briefed, and we know why they're briefed in a particular way. I'm pretty sure Mikel Arteta and Arsenal have praised certain individuals that they've then gone on to sell. It's just the nature of the beast. My point is this. They're wanting to cover all positions. It's a fair challenge. But when you do your research as an individual into a player, he wasn't very good at left back or DM. Now he can cover, he'd be okay at DM for a game or two. If you stuck him in a DM for 20 straight games, he'd let you down. He's not great at it. That's my point. And that isn't my opinion. It's what I've read. It's what fans of Ajax have told me. And it's what the story around the player says. It's not something I feel can be debunked unless you can give me better facts than the facts I'm reading, the facts that I'm being told. That's all I'm saying here. And by the way, my thoughts on that were the same before Man United placed the bid. What will now be, what happens is I then get my words to it. Oh, you're doing it because you're trying to make Man United look better than Arsenal. No. When I thought Arsenal were getting him, when we were being told by journalists, Arsenal were more advanced, Arsenal were doing the work, Arsenal were more likely to land him, I was saying the same very thing. That I think he will become a centre-back at Arsenal. And I think he'll dominate because he's brilliant. I was praising a player that Arsenal at that time believed they were getting. But there we go. People, again, they always want to twist your praise into, you thinking trying to make people think you're doing something negative. And they do that because they don't want people listening to you and watching you, trying to damage you and discredit you. But it's impossible because the terrorist community is far too strong for that. A question here from Erin says, Terry, what do you think about Kimpembe? Because I feel like when I've watched him in the Champions League, he's screamed clumsy at times. It's very hard at PSG to sometimes assess players fairly because the club's a joke. The structure's a joke. The overall togetherness of those players at that club can be a joke. And defenders, more so than probably any other position, can look so raggedy, out of control, clumsy, erratic when a system breaks down. Equally, I think having Thiago Silva this year and Koulibaly around him, a Thomas Tuchel system, a solid group of players around him. I think he's got a solid group of players around PSG, but the system thing comes in. I think Kimpembe could be very, very good for Chelsea. I think he could be very, very good indeed. And the price that they're looking at as well, it's a tremendous piece of business. It's a tremendous piece of business. Dennis says, fair point. Terry, is Ake better than Colwell? I don't know. I've never seen Colwell play. I can only go based on what I read about him. He's very talented. I'd say right now, in reality, we've got no way of knowing because Levi's never kicked the ball in the Premier League. And because he's never kicked the ball in the Premier League, it's impossible to say that he's better than Ake. You just don't know. He hasn't even, if you've got players from different leagues, but they're both played internationally and they're both played in the Champions League, you can assess them against each other. But Levi's had one season in the Championship versus Nathan Ake multiple seasons in the Prem and the Champions League. It's impossible to say. Now, potential-wise, there's a lot of people that think Colwell could become a world-class centre-back, which Ake never will be. So ceiling-wise, Levi's better than him. Actuality right now, Ake. Classic case of grapes are sour. 1, voted best player in at the club at centre-back. 2, nobody pays so much money for a player who may not start when there are other gaps to fill as a priority. I absolutely agree with you. Again, that also didn't make sense. Priority signing was going to be... Listen, I get there's versatility. You know, Tomiyasu can be versatile for them. There's no doubt. Someone tried to make that comparison. Tomiyasu's career, he's played 60-ish games at right back and 90-ish games at centre back, and then maybe 20, and then about 20 odd games in various other positions. Lissandro has played 12 out of 220 games at left back. He's played something like about 20 games at DM, the rest at centre back. Like, the body of weight doesn't support the idea. And it isn't even that. It's when you, again, there were so many Ajax fans in the thread last night in the chat going, guys, basically not being rude, but he weren't very good in those positions. I don't know what people are talking about. And of course, certain managers see things in players, we could use him in this way and whatever else. And I know people will say, well, we're going for Grimaldo now. Terry said they'll only go for Grimaldo once that deal's off. Well, of course, but there's more than one way to skin a cat. Let me give you an example of that. Man United are not looking for a like-for-like replacement for Ronaldo right now. They are not looking at out-and-out number 9s. They're looking at second strikers and inside forwards to fill the void of the player leaving. Like-for-like isn't always needed. Equally, there are very few high-level ball-playing centre-backs available in the market right now. So the next best thing to Lisandro Martinez might be a lot worse than Lisandro Martinez. So what you're better off doing is what the claim is. You're actually better off then going out and buying a backup left back to cover that position. So things are just not binary. And people always try and make them binary. It's weird to me. It's really, really weird to me that the club does that. People do that. Charlie here. Good morning, Terry. Yes, good morning to you, my friend. So let's take a look at some of the stories that are circulating today. As we can see here, I keep myself on the screen. Hello, everyone. See me down there. So this is from the Mark Verval that says Ajax and Man United are expected to complete the deal for Lisandro Martinez on Thursday. That was posted quite late last night. Like I said, I think this deal's already done. I was told this deal was already done yesterday. I mean, I got about 3 or 4 messages saying it's over. Man United have won the race. It is finished. Everyone can relax. The deal is over the line. This was an interesting one that came out as well last night. Separate news completely that Mendes is still pushing with Chelsea and Bayern Munich for Cristiano Ronaldo. That came out in the early hours of this morning from Fabrizio Romano. So that's an interesting one to keep our eyes out on and to keep kind of focusing on moving forward, because I'm very intrigued by it indeed. Now, the Kimpembe news has come out, and of course, some Chelsea fans are excited, some are a little bit upset. Aside from that, Chelsea are no longer interested in signing Jules Koundé. Sport then goes on to say that his priority remains Barcelona. I'm going to challenge that. Jules Koundé's priority was Chelsea. Chelsea have pulled away. Chelsea have 100% pulled away. This guy was in London trying to finalize this deal 6, 7, 8 weeks ago, and he's no longer a target of Chelsea. We need to be honest here. This isn't Jules Koundé pulling away. This is Chelsea not pushing forward with that deal. No official bid, no verbal bid has gone in all summer from Chelsea for Jules Koundé. They pulled away from this as soon as the hierarchy and the management changed at Chelsea. There was a complete and utter switch in the targets. So that's now kind of been confirmed as being off, as it were. We also spoke about the Paqueta situation a little bit earlier. I want to delve into that in a little bit more detail with you all this morning, because I do think that it's a really important. It's a really important situation, as it were. And this is from Ben Jacobs, who says Lyon will seriously consider offers for Lucas Paqueta of £55 million. It says here that Jean-Michel, I can't pronounce that surname, Ulas maybe, Will not hold out for near 70 million price tag he quoted in January. Lyon accepts Paqueta wants to leave this window and won't stand in his way if they receive a satisfactory offer. Now, when you read this, there's nothing much more you can do other than to say, get the deal done, Arsenal. Get the deal done. You can't go in any other direction than to get that deal done now. Ben Jacobs, highly reliable. He knows a lot of people in the French game as well. So this news is real. Arsenal have the availability here of signing an outstanding player. Outstanding player. Like you would not believe. This guy is absolute mustard. And if you research him, I'm not talking a YouTube comp, research his play, the positional sense, the way for me, like Odegaard is been very good for Arsenal. Great in the build-up play. An excellent leader. Lucas Paqueta has the ability to be better, in my opinion. And that, again, that isn't a dig at Odegaard. Odegaard has done brilliantly for Arsenal. But this guy could be better. Equally, depending on the system that you play, rotational needs, he gives Arsenal such an extra string. It gives them great strength from the bench, if that's where he starts from. Equally, when Arsenal are playing the lesser teams, you don't need to start the games with two sitting midfield players. You don't need to be defensive. You may need, you might want to play with, it might look on paper like a double pivot, but with Paqueta pushing much further forward. Essentially, when you're in attack, you go into a 4-3-3 as an example. There's so many options with a player like Lucas Paqueta that Arsenal Football Club will generate for themselves. And I'm for what, like, it's one of those weird deals where because Manchester United have got Bruno, Donny, Eriksen on his way in, it's not a player that Man United are going to go and look for. It's not a player that Man United are going to go and look for. It's not a player that Man United are going to, what's the word I want to use? Isn't a player that we can go and get. There's no space. But I'm still jealous that Arsenal Football Club could be buying him. As I say, I think Odegaard's a very talented player. I just look at Paqueta and think, this guy could be even better, which is a positive for Arsenal, because at the end of the day, if you buy someone like him and he goes on to be better than what you've already got, it's win-win, and that's what Arsenal fans want, their club progressing, their club moving forward. And when I see it, I just look at him and think, he's so versatile. He can play in a more attacking midfield role. He can play more centrally. He covers every blade of grass on the football pitch. And for me, looking at someone's heat map is more important than the position they quote unquote play or do not play. He's sensational. He's absolutely sensational. And if Arsenal can pull this off for 50, as I say here, with Ben Jacobs confirming the price here, the price being set, £55 million. It's an out of this world deal. Out of this world deal. I don't think you can get away from how good a deal that would be for Arsenal Football Club. It really, really would. It really, really would be. Odegaard is bang average, someone says here. I can't find the comment now. But someone says he's bang average. Odegaard isn't bang average. Do you know what Odegaard does? He plays further forward, but because he isn't the guy getting the assists or the goals, there's a natural proclivity to say, well, what else is he doing? Again, starting position isn't key. Heat maps and the influence you have on the game is. One of the reasons why Manchester United want Frankie de Jong is because he's going to be able to maintain possession, influence the play. He is the guy that's going to be, same as Christian Eriksen, in my opinion. These guys will be playing the passes to the individuals getting the assist, to the individuals creating the chances. That's what Odegaard does so well. It's almost this knitting together. Is the knitting together of a team. Think of it this way. You could buy the best pair of jeans. The jeans look good. The color is nice. The fit is brilliant. Everyone's like, wow, look at them, you know. But back in the day, what was really good about jeans when I was younger is the color. There used to be a label on the back, above the back pocket. And that label, did it look good? Did it complement the jeans? How nice did they look? It's great. Well, do you know what nobody ever complimented you on when it comes to your jeans or your shirt, anything you buy, your brand new hat? No one compliments you on how good the threading is. But without quality threading, the jeans, the shirt, the hat, it all falls apart. And Martin Odegaard is the thread to a pair of jeans. And I know it might be like a weird analogy for people, but think about it. Because the best material for your shirt, best material for your jeans, if the thread's cheap, if the thread's nasty, it's going to fall apart, it's going to frail. And that is exactly what Odegaard does to a team. I'm just stating, and again, I don't know why this is offending Gooners. You're in for him. I think Paqueta could end up being better than that. I think it could be even better. And I know that Odegaard's your captain, but I don't feel like Man United and Arsenal are in a position where we can like scoff at bringing people in that end up being better. Someone said to me the other day, would you be upset if Eriksen ended up being better than Bruno? No. Why would I be? It's just, there's nothing to be upset about. Well, does that mean my club's got better? Yeah. Well happy, bruv. Well happy with my club being better. And I think that's what people need to focus on there, in my opinion. Dennis here says he will only got to Newcastle for money. Ambition would be a better team. I don't necessarily think signing for Newcastle anymore is about money. I think you can buy into Newcastle's project now. You can buy into what they're trying to do. You can buy into where they're trying to get to as a football club. I think that's, I think it's a little bit unfair to say that people are only going there for money. It's a money club. No, I think people are going to go to Newcastle because it's going to be a very good place to play football. It's going to take them 2 or 3 years, as we've mentioned many times on the terrace, to raise their standards to the level required. But on a serious level, like, people are going there for the right reasons. Later on today, people, we've got some updates coming on about some other players. Matheus Nunes, there's some updates around him that are breaking over the course of today. The De Jong situation, people keep asking about it. Again, last night, just another. Last night, there was another update, and it just made me laugh because I'm like, what does this mean, though? Right? So this was again. I want to get your thoughts on this, people. What does this statement mean? This one wasn't trending because, of course, I don't even know what it means. It says here that Xavi has said that Frankie de Jong is worth it. He is a player that he likes, but it is economically necessary for Barca to sell him. So what does that mean? I keep saying to everyone, what do these statements mean? Everybody's telling us these things. Cool. But what does that mean then, bruv? Will they be able to force him out, or will he stay? That's all. I think that's all people want an answer on. And it's like every single journalist in the world is too scared to say because they don't want to be wrong. It's so mad. They were like, I'm just going to tell you what I'm heard. I'm not going to give you an opinion on this. Like, honestly, they're so scared of the TL on Twitter. The TL is such a scary place for people. It's unbelievable. So yeah, that's what's going on there. Josh says here, the thing is with Arsenal, they are linked to so many midfielders. Then boom, Vieira in. I'm hoping Spurs snatch Paqueta. Also, I'm excited we're getting 2 or 3 in. Look, I actually think Paqueta would be a very Tottenham don't have a midfielder like him. Where Arsenal already have, of course, Odegaard. They've got Fabio Vieira that can play more advanced. I know he prefers heat map-wise as well. Emil Smith-Rowe loves to drift out to that left-hand side or play out there. He can also play centrally as a creator. Arsenal are relatively stacked in that area comparatively to Tottenham. It's interesting that Tottenham are in for him as it's that. I mean, I've not seen any credible links to him. Maybe I've missed them. Maybe they're out there and I just haven't seen them. There's so many links to so many clubs. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. Francisco here says, I can't lie. United overpaid for Lissandro. Arsenal were smart not to fall in that trap. Look, a lot of people have got that opinion. We did a poll yesterday, 8,000 votes. 20% said they think the Man United have overpaid. It's a fair point. But for me, he's at least as good as Ben White. At least. And Ben White cost £50 million. He's at least as good as Harry Maguire, who cost £80 million. So he's much better than Tyrone Mings, who cost nearly £30 million. I think it's £42 million in total United are going to pay. I don't think that is a bad price for a player of his quality. in my opinion, Fran, but I appreciate the super chat and the opinion. Remember, people, we are giving away free memberships. If we hit 1,000 likes while we're live, I'll give away more free memberships to you. But don't wait till the end of the stream. Get the likes in now. We're going to go to member chat, but I can't do it until we hit 1,000 likes. So get it done now, people, if you want a free membership to the Football Terrace. Super chat here that came through says, how many new members today? I'll make my decision when we hit the like button. Get that done, people, right now. That's what I'm going to say, my man, Dan. Thank you very much indeed. Who is a member, of course. Terry, it means De Jong is worth every penny. Well, yeah, I get that. So, but what does it mean in terms of end result? That's what I want an opinion on. That's what I want an opinion on. This is wrong. Trying to sign players that don't want to come or keep players who don't want to stay. Yeah, I understand you. But if he can't come to a resolution with Barca and he agrees to leave, this is where it changes it, doesn't it, Fergie's son? If Barca today say to De Jong, we will pay you the 17 million euros we owe, and then he agrees to leave, then the notion that he doesn't want to come changes. Most of the reports are suggesting that it's the impasse, the problem with the wages that are making him refuse to leave. Yes, he's saying it's because he loves the club. I think it's more the money. If he gets the money and still says, I ain't leaving, you've paid me what you owe me, but I'm still not going, then I'll buy 100% into what you're saying. You know, I still have faith in Erik ten Hag that he wouldn't be continually chasing unless there was an issue. Now, we are being told now by journalists that Man United is setting the deadline. Rob Blanchett said there's a deadline being set. United will walk away if the deal isn't done or advancing by the end of this week. That, for me, is sensible. There comes a point where you've got to say, listen, we've done everything we can. We're moving on. That puts pressure upon Barca. That puts pressure upon Frankie for at least a resolution, whether it's seen as positive or negative in any which way light. But I do hear you, my friend. I do hear what you're saying there. Not a problem. United overpaid for Lisandro. United fell for the trap. Arsenal was smart not to do that. Well, Arsenal was still in for him yesterday, and the player said, no, stop listening to Arsenal. I want to go to Man United. So, you know, my belief is this, my friend. If Lisandro yesterday said to Arsenal, I want you more than Man United, Arsenal would have matched Man United's bid. That's why you were still in there. There was no point in you speaking to him yesterday if he'd already pulled away. That's my view. Cheers for the content, Terry. Interesting times ahead for United under the new gaffer. Oh, it's certainly interesting times for Manchester United. I don't think you can get away from how intriguing this situation is now at the club. On top of that, you have this situation of, I mean, yesterday I put out a tweet and it was sarcastic. But again, people don't read sarcasm very well. You know, United have secured 3 players now. Yes, we're waiting for the announcement on 2, but they're done. Eriksen, Malacia. Now Martinez. And I've kind of said it's that sensational business for a new manager who's 7 weeks into his job when you consider, the dig was that everybody saying we're in crisis, nobody wants to come, there's no structure, there's no plan. Signing those 3 players of the quality they all possess inside your first 7 weeks, when quote unquote the club's falling apart still, it's a disaster. It's not bad. It's pretty good, pretty sensational, all things considered. United will be all right. And I think it's funny, really, because we're doing decent business. And I got into it with Curran last night, and he was making me laugh. And this is why Man United fans, you can't fall for the banter. This is a man who sat on the terrace multiple times saying, basically, you can't overly judge Arteta yet because he hasn't built his full squad. Yeah, he's sitting there like complaining, like saying that United, you know, have still got too many holes in their team after this summer. They're not buying the right types of players, in his opinion. They're neglecting the right-hand side. It's like, well, the right-hand side's got to improve. But if the right targets are not available on the right-hand side yet, you wait until the right people come along. We're 7 weeks into our rebuild. You're like 4 years or nearly into yours. You can't assess them at the same point and at the same stages. But I think that's what people laughed at Man United being in a new rebuild. But now they want to people always want to skip the first 2 years of our rebuild and go straight to, well, why are you not competing yet? It's hilarious to see the scurrying of how do we twist this into United are doing bad business. Listen, we were laughed at for years for signing the wrong players that the manager didn't want. Now we're only going after people that the manager wants, and if they're not available in certain positions, we're keeping them. We're not wasting the money, and they're trying to banter us on that, which is fair. But United fans, don't fall into the trap and side with your rivals on this. It's crazy. Ray here says De Jong has already told United that he is. De Jong has already told United that he's coming. People think, why do you think he is still there? I'm sorry, I don't understand what they're saying, Ray. De Jong has already told United that he is coming. People think, why? I don't understand that. People think, why do you think United is still there? Oh, you think he's already told Man United he's coming? Why do you think Man United haven't walked away? So I get that in the end. So I just wasn't reading that too great. I thought it was my dyslexia. I'm very sorry. I apologize. Morning, Simon. Hope you're well. Ted here says sarcasm doesn't work through text, Terry. It's way too deep. Yeah, I've always said two things Twitter need: an edit button, and they also need an edit button, and they need like a font button that you put a font on for sarcasm so people can read it. Oh, wow. Thank you very much, Dan. 10 memberships here have been gifted by a man like Dan on the show. Now, who's got one? Charlie Hughes, the Hottest Spurs, Naz, Angie's got one. Who else here? SL's got one. Misha's got one. Web Creative, long-time viewer, has got one here. Hugo Santos, Razor LFC as well. All 10 of you are now officially squad members at the Football Terrace. Welcome, 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 one and all. We will go to member chat only a little bit later on in the show. We will do that. But we need to get to 1,000 likes. Get to 1,000 likes, and I'm going to gift out more memberships for you live on the air today. Dan also says, keep up the great show. Thank you, Dan, for that super chat. Means the world to me. Charlie Hughes here, happy with his membership. We've got Tippy here in the house. Loads of members here today. Marathon here. Chelsea fan, bigging up Dan. All the new members in the house. All members. By the way, guys, we're going to update the emojis soon, but let's get some of the emojis first. Members emojis, get them running through right now. I'm going to post some in the section below. We are going to get new ones made very soon for you all. But look, get the emojis going as well, people. You guys don't use them half as much as you used to. That's why we're going to update them and make them a little bit more fun, a little bit better and stuff like that. But get the emojis going, my friends. Let's do that. But there we go. I mean, yeah, look, I again with it is what it is. There was another update that I wanted to put out, and I can't find it right now. I can't find it. I had it kind of earmarked a little bit earlier on today. I mean, this is also interesting. The Cristiano Ronaldo thing's interesting, as you can kind of see here. You know, Mendes now is going to be pushing for him. He's still pushing for him to go. It's all gone very, very quiet on the Western Front, as it were. There's a little bit of talk last night of a bid from a Saudi Arabian club. They're going to pay him like 250 million pounds over a couple of year period. I don't personally see that happening based on the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo wants to continue playing at the very highest level of the game. So I don't personally see him jogging off to Saudi Arabia. Like, barring the money, if he goes to Saudi Arabia, then it was always about money with Man United and not Champions League football. If he goes to play in Saudi Arabia, like, with all due respect, he's better off being in the Europa League than playing in Saudi Arabia. Like, in terms of legacy, no one is going to care what he's doing in Saudi Arabia, barring his fans. But maybe that's kind of the point. Ricky here says, Barca may have the best window ever on paper. I mean, theoretically, yeah. Sorry, it's very warm. I need that water. They absolutely could. Terry, what's your first thoughts after the game? Bud meant to ask you. Well, Man United's game. I was happy with how we played and performed in moments. There's still holes. There's still issues. There's still a long way to go. But it was kind of nice to watch a game where we were in it. You know, we did well. Like Liverpool, I couldn't believe Liverpool didn't score in the first half. Should have been like 2-2, 2-2, 3-3 at the end of the first half in terms of chances. So Liverpool were in the game, no doubt. But I was happy with what I saw from Man United. Of course, results are not the important thing in pre-season. It's the knitting together of the team, fitness, cohesion, and getting used to the ideas of the new manager. And that, for me, is a much bigger focus, as it were. Terry removed the cap. Oh, no. Not yet. Not yet. Soon, my friend. Soon, my friend. Soon, my friend. Hairline reveal. That's coming soon, my people. That's coming soon, people. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's going to happen. Don't stress yourselves over it. Oh, I see all the emojis being used now, which is great. Top people for doing that. Really do appreciate it. My guys. Terry, where is Ericsson? Again, medical's taking place. There has always been a thought that he was going to join in the latter stages of the Australia part of the tour or after. Go back to the original reports. That is what was said. So people stressing, why isn't he here? And I will say this to people. People don't read the articles. People read the headlines, and that's it. The article stated that the timeline of when things would happen, and we're within that timeline. So there's no reason to stress about it. We were already told this is pretty much how things were going to go. So I don't understand. I just don't understand the stress. I don't understand the stress. I really don't. I know people don't trust the club, and I know that's part of it, but I don't know. It's just, I'd be so shocked now if this deal fell through. If something happened and that we didn't expect, it was like, oh my God, it's all gone. It's all fallen away. We're in absolute trouble now. Like, I just don't see that happening myself. I really don't. I really don't. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that is just me. Any questions you've got, people, feel free to get them in. This is one from Tamil here that says, Terry, why are rivals hating Chelsea so much? I think people are hating on Chelsea because they see what Chelsea are doing as a massive threat. They see it as a threat. I don't think you can get away from how much of a threat they see Chelsea as. They were and people were hoping that Chelsea were going to fall away. They were hoping that Chelsea were going to fall by the wayside. You know, I saw an Arsenal fan yesterday say that Chelsea's business is Everton-esque because they're buying too many players. And I died. I'm sort of like, it's not ideal that they've got to look at 3 new centre-backs in one summer. But they had to look at 3 new centre-backs in one summer. You can't kind of get away. It's a bit like this. It's a bit like saying Arsenal are being Everton-esque because they lost 2 strikers, as in Lacazette and Aubameyang, but now they're buying 3 attackers to replace them. No, you shouldn't be buying 3. You should be buying 1. There's too many players coming in. I get this banter, but I said it before. People use banter as genuine analysis now, and it's crazy because it doesn't really stack up. But people are fearful of Chelsea, and that is why there is the banter going that way. Sterling, I don't know who that next name is meant to be. And Koulibaly through the door. Plenty more to come here. Chelsea are going to do some serious business, and there's still so much more to come. There's no doubt. Gnabry won't go to Chelsea. I think that's your hope speaking more than reality. He could certainly go. If he doesn't agree to sign a new deal at Bayern and he wants to leave, Chelsea could sign him. Chelsea have got the facilities, the money, the prowess, the manager, the squad. Champions League football. They've got every single box to tick to sign Gnabry if he decides to leave Bayern Munich. No doubt in my mind. No doubt at all in my mind. Why are Spurs fans saying they're going to win the league? I don't know. Do you know what's crazy? If City and Liverpool weren't so good, I think it's not a bad shout because you've got Antonio Conte. If Pep and Klopp left Liverpool and City today, I'd entertain Spurs winning it with Antonio Conte. Entertain. Not say it would happen. I'd entertain it. They're just not. You know, I'll give you an example. Dylan White is a decent heavyweight boxer, but he isn't winning. He isn't beating Tyson Fury, Joshua, or Wilder in a fight. Unless he catches them on the jaw, he isn't winning the fight. He might win a world title against some people with a lucky punch, and he'll beat a lot of people at his level of boxing. But over a career spanning period, he won't have as big a wins. He won't have as much success as those other three boxers because they are just better than him. That's what a league is like. A league isn't individual matches, as in boxers fighting each other. It's the legacy of their career, and essentially, and over a space of a 38-game period, City and Liverpool are too good, and Chelsea, in my opinion, for even with Antonio Conte at Spurs, for them to win the league. However, Spurs are going to be competitive. Spurs are going to be brilliant. Spurs are going to have great moments in the season. Spurs are like the Dylan White of football. They're up there. They're one of the top fighters around, but there's 2 or 3 that are just elite above. Very much like tennis. Andy Murray are like Tottenham. You know, they might win a few trophies. They might win some amazing matches, but he just is not of the level of Djokovic, Federer, Nadal in their era. They're just not there yet. Now, if Antonio Conte stays, if Antonio Conte is given the money, and of course not the same positions, but in 2 years' time, if there's 7, 8 players of Son, Harry Kane level across the team, then they're surrounded by very good players, decent bench, who knows? Who knows then? Too early for Spurs, in my opinion, right now. To see what happens in the window, too early. But I like the fact that Spurs fans have got some chest. I'm glad that Spurs fans are actually backing their team. I still get annoyed at Spurs fans. Like, no, I'm just happy to play good football and like win a few matches. Come on now, you've got to have a better mentality than that. I want to just say we've got the first. Hang on a second, people. El Raji, thank you very much for upgrading your membership to squad level. Thank you very much, my friend. That means a great deal to the Football Terrace. You've done it. Now, I want to give out these free memberships today, but we still need 450 more likes, my people. We're so far behind today. I don't know why you're not hitting the like button. It's to give out free memberships. Just do it. Just do it. I don't understand what's so hard. We're giving away free things for you. Let's go, my people. How many other channels do that for you? And you don't hit the like button? Come on, brothers. Come on now. It's crazy. You're breaking my heart. Not really. Andy Murray won 2 Wimbledons and beat Djokovic in the final in straight sets. Of course. And as I've said before, when you look at singular sports stars, their career is like the league season in football. In a season, Spurs will beat and have great moments. They can also pick up cups, but the league is like the legacy. Andy Murray's legacy in the game doesn't touch those other people. That's my point to you. You know, you can win a tournament because of a one-off game. You can't win a league because of a one-off game as such. I get your point. They've won trophies. I'm just saying that Spurs are just not good enough right now to beat City and Liverpool. And in my opinion, right now, Chelsea to a league title. But they're going to be dangerous. They're going to be dangerous. I don't think we can get away from that one. Hit the like button, you old grannies, is what Serge Gnabry. Imagine it was a real Serge Gnabry just sitting there watching a stream. That's a terrible comparison, Terry. Disrespecting Dylan White. That is a very good comparison. And I'm not disrespecting Dylan White. I like Dylan White. I want him to win the majority of his fights. Just isn't of the level of those other boxers. We've seen that with the way AJ sparks him. You know, he was absolutely destroyed by Tyson Fury. And if you look how Dylan White did against Tyson Fury, like Dylan White, Deontay Wilder did. Like Wilder got battered in the second fight, and he was outclassed in the third. But the difference between the two, like the amount of times over 3 fights he hurt and put Tyson down, like, yeah, just a level below, Terry, Man United look good as well. Look, Man United, I'm not right now. If you said to me right this second, what way is the league going this year? I'm predicting Man United to be no higher in the league this season right now than 5th. Because other teams are ahead of us. They're doing very, very good business already. However, we'll assess things when we get closer to the end of the season. I think that's the sensible thing to kind of that's a sensible thing to really go out there and do, in my very humble opinion. Terry, what's your first thoughts? Oh, I already had that comment. It's come through again. I've already read that one out, Charlie. I've already read that one out, me old mate. I've already read that one out. Andy Murray's legacy is in the UK only. No, not in the UK only. Andy Murray is regarded as one of the best tennis players of the last 20 years. There are some that actually, although he hasn't won as many slams as certain other legends, because of the people he was competing against, he's held in a much higher regard than some people with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Grand Slams. If just one of the 3 kings of tennis were not around in Andy Murray's era, I truly believe Andy Murray would have about 10 Grand Slams or more. He was that good, you know. If it was Djokovic and Murray would have 10, 15 Grand Slams by now, in my opinion. It's just Andy Murray's career happened almost at the wrong time. If Andy Murray and Tim Henman switch their eras, Andy Murray has at least 10 Grand Slams, in my opinion. But he just had 3 guys in front of him that were just so good. It's unbelievable. And this can happen sometimes. This can happen. Didn't realize I got membership. Thanks to whoever gave it to me. Listen, that was given out by Dan, so I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Let's have a little look at some more comments here. Terry, do you think Maguire can play in the Ten Hag system? I think he can do okay in it. I'm still not sold on Maguire staying. I'm not sold on him staying. I don't know if it's going to be long term. The fact Lisandro Martinez is... Listen, if Lisandro Martinez ended up getting played at left back and DM, I'm going to look like such a tit. But I get... My little hot take on this is over the course of the next season or 2, Maguire will be moved on. But do you know the best way you move Maguire on? You get some decent performances out of him. You get everybody on side with him again. Man United fans, you want him sold? Be a bit nicer about him. Like, this is the maddest thing. We ruin the commodities at our club because we don't let off. Like, just let it happen. Like, oh, we rate him. We think he's great. You know, this hoodwink someone into buying him. That's what bothers me. Do you know what I mean? It's just that you've got to play the game. People think because TB is not a... Sorry, people think because TB is not a football man, he doesn't know business side of running the global asset. You can tell the way agents speak about him. Who's TB? Why don't I know who TB is? Todd Bowley. Sorry, I got it. I don't know who he is. Listen, but the thing is, Todd Bowley, this is what's stupid. I don't need to have as much knowledge about football as Eric Ten Hag or Tuchel or Pep or Klopp to be their director of football. I don't. Do you know what you do? You hire people with that knowledge around you. This is what every great business person does. Do you think Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were experts at every element of what's required to get Apple to where it is? Of course, I know Steve Jobs ain't doing that anymore. To get Microsoft to where it is. Or do you think they hired people that were specialists in particular areas to deliver? Do you think when I improved the Football Terrace thumbnail, do you think I did that? I ain't a designer. I had a decent designer that was making my previous thumbnails. And he was making them, and he made me the templates, and I kind of put them together. They were okay. I wanted them better. I went to a top-class designer. The guy that designed our neon-style thumbnails, he was one of KSI's designers. I'm like, yo, bro, can you make mine? Make the templates. Paid him, done. You delegate. You know, that's the point of it. So Todd Bowley isn't Todd Bowley's football knowledge that he's going into these meetings with. He's going in with his business acumen. Who's feeding him the information is the football people. And that's the important part. That's where Man United went wrong. It wasn't that Woodward was doing the negotiation per se. It's that he thought he knew better than the football people. Todd Bowley doesn't think he knows more about football than the football people at Chelsea. He's just taking the instructions and then running with it. You know, I worked in banking, and I used to sell investment products. Essentially. Now, I'm not an investment banker. I don't have the qualifications in banking to officially take you through the process. But what I was allowed to do is speak about the facts of that product. The investment bankers would teach me about the products and the facts around it. I would then sit in the room with the spiel and convince very rich people to invest their money. They go, oh, I'm really interested. Then I'd bring the investment banker in to do the official talk and we'd seal the deal. I didn't need to be a specialist in investment banking to sell investment banking products. You surround yourself with people that understand how it works. How do I know this? I'm very fortunate to have a decent career in some of the biggest corporate organizations in the world. And trust me, the MDs of those departments, they were not specialists. I used to work directly for an MD. And if she had a meeting, it was literally, she'd like say the meeting was on a Friday. At least a week prior, it was like, right, people, I've got this meeting with these people. This is a subject matter. and there's five things on the agenda. We'd all be given one of these parts of the agendas. It was like, by Wednesday close of business, I want a report on all this stuff. I want it explained in layman terms with the major bullet points. And then we're going to sit in a meeting and go through it. And you guys are going to teach it. And we'd sit there, show it to her, take her through it all so that she had the ammunition to go into a meeting and basically sound like she knows what she's talking about. And of course, she knew what she was talking about because she learned it. But she didn't know it all off the top of her head without the research being done. And you can't do that. You have people that work for you and they feed the information in. And every now and then, if it was a more complex meeting, you'd go in with your boss. She'd be the main person talking. And then when it got to a point where it was going beyond what she'd read, she'd look at me and I'd be like, right, then I'd step in and do my bit. So she didn't need my specialisms to be able to be the MD of the department. Delegation is key. It really is. So people having a pop at Todd Boehly, and I'm going to sound so arrogant, it's because people don't understand how real business works. And I understand that if you're a 17-year-old lad and you've not even had your first job yet. You know, I didn't understand it at 17 when I was working at Superdrug, stacking shelves. I didn't understand it at 21 when I was in a lumberyard cutting out wood. I didn't understand it. And that's not a dig. It's just listen to the people that have been there and done it and worn the T-shirt. And that's the one thing I'd say. I've always said it before. If Gordon Ramsay tells me this is how you cook a burger properly, I'm not saying you're wrong. My mum showed me a different way. Like, he knows more than my mum about cooking, right? So I listen to him. Why don't we do that in football? Why don't we do it in business? When an informed person who's been there and done it and worn the T-shirt says that's not how it works, this is the real way. Why are our minds not changed? I don't understand people. When financial experts have said to me, net spend doesn't work how the newspapers tell you it does, and they explain how, I'm like, cool, my mind's changed because you're an expert. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the weirdo. Just joined the stream. Finally a member. Thanks, Terry, or whoever gifted it. It wasn't me. We're 300 likes away from me gifting more out here. But not a problem. It's great to have you on board as a member of what I think is the best football fan channel in the world. The best, I think. I'm only messing. I'm only messing. But there we go. Those difficult subjects, anyone can watch football and give an opinion. Maybe that's why. But listen, they are difficult subjects, but then trust the experts. Like, it's not a hard one. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a hard one, in my opinion. I do think it's more ego. I think it's people don't like to go, oh, I didn't know that. Well, I'm just the other way as a human being. You know, if you can, I've said it before, I would become the most devout, whatever religion, Christian, Muslim, Jew, Buddhist. If someone could prove to me factually that the religion, that it was all real, I'd become so dedicated tomorrow. 100%. You'd see me every prayer meeting, every Sunday at mass. You know what I mean? All the prayer times during the day, if it was Islam, whatever it is, like, I'm just, show me a fact and I'll believe it. I'm just the way I am. Someone goes, this is the facts. Cool. Change my mind. It's just the way I work. It's just the way I work. It's not about ego for me ever. It's like, show me a truth. And the reason I bring up the religion thing is because I'm like it in everything. Someone says to me, I don't know. If someone says to me, Bruno Fernandes is a faster sprinter than Rashford, I'm going to say, I don't believe it. They show me the stats and the facts and the moments that prove it. I go, oh my God, he's just faster. I believe it. I won't go, nah, it's manipulated. What direction was the wind blowing in? Did Rashford have a cold on that day? No, I'm just going to go, you're right. There's the facts. And I've said this before. This is the thing about life. And Ricky Gervais said this, and it stuck with me since he said it until this time. Your opinion is not worth more than my fact. So it's like the Lisandro Martinez situation. The facts of the matter are he was played at left back and dropped for not being good enough. He's played at DM and dropped for not being good enough. Moved into centre back and become the best player of the season for Ajax. He's played 12 of these professional games in a left-back position and did very poorly in them. People have barely scouted him at left-back because he's seldom played there. The facts of the matter remain that he is a centre-back and has been poor in his other positions. Therefore, I don't believe anybody has scouted him to play at left-back or wants him to play at left-back predominantly. Yes, he might cover there, but eventually I think he becomes a mainstay centre-back at whatever club he goes to this summer. It looks like it can be Man United. Now, if someone comes, it's not an opinion. My opinion is based on the facts that have been presented by the journalists, by the media, by Ajax fans around him as a player. Bring me better facts and not just a report that's what the club have told someone, the facts around it, then I'll change my mind. So we've been given facts about Lisandro Martinez. That is what my opinion is based on, not fan theory because of a passage in a passage within an article. Like that is a piece of information. And there's a data point, and it absolutely should be respected. But there's far more data points that say different things. That's my point here, and that's the same for everything in life. Like, I'm never somebody who will deny a fact. Show me the facts. I go, wow, that's new. I don't have people say I always think I'm right. It's not that I always think I'm right. It's that I try my best to base my opinions on things I've read and seen and feel and facts behind them. Give me better facts and I'll always change my mind on everything, because that's what you should do in life. Who would want to imagine still thinking the world's flat? Imagine believing there wasn't dinosaurs. Jesus Christ died and in 3 days rose again. That's a fact, Terry. Interestingly, though, my dad's always said this to me, and I've read it as well. There's more physical evidence that Jesus Christ was alive than there was Julius Caesar. So I do believe Jesus Christ existed, was a real person. Whether or not his dad was God, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I wonder how many other women in that era got pregnant out of wedlock and tried to claim it was God. Like, oh, that's a great excuse. I wonder how many tried to blame it on God. Actually, that'd be dangerous in that era, because in that era, like, blasphemy was a bad thing. Like, nowadays, you can blaspheme all you want. It might offend KJ and a few others, but nothing's going to happen to you. It's in, like, the law, right? You're not going to be put against the wall and stoned to death. But yeah, oh man, that made me laugh. Dennis, that's hilarious. But people, 250 more likes if you want those memberships. Get it done now, my people. Better facts. Well, yeah, better facts. Better facts. So what you'd have to do to convince me that Arsenal wanted him to play at left back, or he was going to play there regularly for Arsenal, is show me the, I don't know, the scouting reports. Get someone official to explain how and what and why they thought it was going to work. If say Arteta was to come out and go, listen, we wanted him at left back. We know he hasn't played there very much. We know that, but we were going to use him different. We were going to do these different things. We thought that was going to counteract and get this out of him. If they explain, I'll go, well, that's a fact. And what I mean by that's a fact is this. You're explaining in intricate detail how you were going to do it differently to what Ajax did. But there's none of that. So I need that level of explanation for me to go, it makes sense. I can believe you now. The fact is what they were going to try and do. So that's what I mean by better facts. Much better facts. So, yeah. I mean, I thought it was a pretty obvious statement, to be fair, my old mate Alex. But there we go. Manchester United signed Martinez is an affirmation statement, but you haven't signed him. He's a Man United player. He's a Man United player. It be done, baby. It be done, my friend. Calm yourself down. This is like Trent. There's a conspiracy theory he can't defend, but stats say otherwise. You're absolutely right. Trent can defend. Trent just has bad moments while defending. That's the fact. He can. I've seen him do great things defensively. He switches off. He has bad moments. I actually think sometimes some people say he's lazy. I don't think he's lazy at all. I think he doesn't sense danger all the time. I think his awareness is sometimes lacking. Now, statistically, it's hard to prove. That's an eye test thing. But the reason I say that is because sometimes he just doesn't see a runner and go with him. There are times when he does. And that's why I don't believe the fan theory that he's told not to go with his runners. Then why does he go with runners sometimes and not others? Sometimes he just doesn't see it until it's too late. So you're right, he can defend. He just sometimes makes mistakes that are costly. I hear you. Comment here that says Lisandro Martinez was demanding Ajax listen to Manchester United after he personally turned down Arsenal. Don't share that on here. People don't like it. People don't like it. You get me shut down. You get me shut down, mate. Please don't. Terry Martinez played in a totally different league. So when he has Kane, Haaland, and players like that coming to Martinez, do you think he will survive? Right now, yes. I understand people's fears around it, but I think he'll do well. I think he'll do very, very well. Yes, crosses are still played into the box. There's no doubt about it. But we don't really live in an era where, like, You've got Trent and you've got KDB. You've got basically Liverpool's whole fullback system. They do a lot of crosses, but the world, the play is different now. Far more balls being played on the ground, far more sort of through balls and balls being played into the box than crosses. Equally, his ability in the air is fantastic. Look at the amount of air. Like, listen, Haaland and Harry Kane are of a different level. It isn't going to be their height that's the problem. Why? Because most of the strikers in the Eredivisie are a similar height to the strikers in the Prem. And he was winning a lot of those duels. You know, he was jumping high. He was winning it. And also, it isn't just your height. It's your timing as a centre-back that's more important sometimes than your height. Harry Maguire is big. He has problems, doesn't he? So I understand that. But look, I'm confident in him. I'm confident that he'll do a good job. I am. I think he'll do well. I think he'll do really, really well. In the Champions League, he didn't look... Sorry, in the Champions League final, he didn't look... Yeah, he didn't look at what around the Vinicius thing. He just doesn't see it sometimes, Trent. He doesn't see it. And that's because I don't think he's a world-class defender, as in defensive attributes. I think he's a world-class right-back in totality. But he's got some areas of his defending that have got a problem. But however, you can overlook them for the other skills he brings. And this is like Lisandro Martinez. How good he is on the ball, how good he is from playing out from the back is going to be far more beneficial than him being, will there be a goal? This is what's going to happen. And you can clip this. There'll be a goal or two where a ball's crossed in and he just ain't quite tall enough to get his head to it. It'll go over his head, fall to an attacker and they'll score. And everyone go, oh, if he was 6'2", you wouldn't have conceded then. And that's a fair point. But then what you're doing is you're removing every other attribute that the player brings to a team that makes you better due to one area that might cost you a goal or two over the course of the season. It might cost you a goal or two. It's a bit like saying drop Trent because every now and then we can see the goal because of him. Let's take away his crossing. Let's take away his creativity. Let's take away his play. Let's take away his playmaking abilities and all his assists and all the great things he brings because every now and then he makes a mistake that costs a goal. You wouldn't do it. You'd never do it. Every now and then, Alisson, with playing out from the back, has made some mistakes that have led to Liverpool conceding chances or goals. Do you drop him for that? No, too risky. Football doesn't work like that. Like if you're going to one data point and you're going to go write the player off. That's why I'd say, Lynn, I'm not too worried about it. Terry speaking facts for a change. My brother, I always speak facts, straight facts. No, I'm only messing, but there we go. Terry, people when assessing a player should not look at his status, but instead look at the player's characteristics that benefit his team's playing style. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I think that, of course, rivals are not going to do that. Rivals will never do that because praising another team's business is a very hard thing to do. But I actually prefer doing it. I much prefer to praise a team signing than slag it off. I feel quite cleansed. It's a bit like not watching Love Island. I feel brilliant that I don't do it. I've come to this realization in the last little while about myself. I love not conforming. Now, I don't not conform to be different. Oh, I'm going to be different. You know, I want to wear a suit made of meat so I look different. That's because that's being deliberately like different. And I think there's a falseness to that. I'm different in silence to a degree. Like when I'm here talking, I have to speak, but I don't make a big song and dance about the fact that I don't conform on what shows like Love Island. I'm sort of like, I don't like doing things that everybody else is doing. I find it, I don't know, it's boring for me. Like when Game of Thrones started, I didn't know it was coming. And then for years, people were buzzing about it. I'm like, I'll watch it at a time when I'm ready to watch it. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it just because everybody else is watching it. Does that make sense? I really like the show, by the way. It was great. But it's like, I'm not going to, I don't know, it's just the conforming thing. And I think the same with football opinion. It's kind of like the thing to do is to try and find a singular data point as to why a player signed a crap individual. That's the banter. I find that banter so mainstream, so boring, so old hat that I'm just not participating in it. And in the short term, it might cost me. Oh, you're not as fun. Oh, this channel's better because they ripped into a rival's players that are signing. Yeah, I'm not going to do what everybody else does. I find that boring. And doing what I do is what I consider cool, is what I consider to be like on point. like completely being yourself and being comfortable enough to step outside of the mainstream and do things a little differently. I like that. It feels good. There's a lot of young people at the minute between sort of 16 and 21. And they do this thing, which is like, I don't know what the overall name is, but they're essentially off the grid. They don't have social media. And I was talking to a few of them, and they were like, a couple of them are at university right now, the younger lads that I know. They're basically like younger brothers and stuff of people I used to train with in kickboxing. And I was chatting to them at like a wedding recently. And they were like, one of the young lads was like, oh, mate, the attention I'm getting is crazy. What do you mean? He goes, the girls think it's so like intriguing and sexy and brilliant that I'm like off the grid. I'm not on social media. It's alluring. It's like mysterious. And now more and more people are starting to do it. Now, eventually, this could become a thing where not being on social media is the most popular thing you can do. And then it becomes mainstream. And once it's the mainstream, then you look for a different thing. I like being part of the counterculture, if that makes sense. I find it far more intriguing, far more fun. The only thing I don't do is I don't rip into people who do the mainstream thing. If you want to watch Love Island, go watch it. That's on you, man. That's on you. Probably an entertaining show. Just don't get involved. Equally with football, if you just want to sit there and slag off everything your rivals are doing, that's on you. I just find it boring. I just find it boring. Really, really boring. I am talking football, but I'm giving you an example from outside of football as to exactly why I do things the way in which I do them. There is a pattern to it. A lot of people got to realize this. I am no different off camera to I am on camera. There's nothing different about me. I'm completely 100% myself. I don't put an accent on. I don't use different words. I don't laugh different. That's my favorite. That's my favorite one. People think I love that theory of me. Terry puts that laugh on. There we go. Terry, who would win in a fight, Lee Gunner or Goldbridge? Lee Gunner, without a shadow of a doubt. Terry, who are the Fungus fans when it comes to Love Islands? I don't know. I don't know. I am intrigued to learn about one person there, though. Is it Dammy? But people think I've seen on the TL people saying about that individual. I'd have probably gone on Love Island when I was younger. When I was in my fighting days, in shape, good body. I'd have probably gone on it. I was different when I was younger. I'd be like, get me right on there, mate. No, I wouldn't. I wanted to do Big Brother when I was younger, but that's a different conversation for another day. People, we're ending the stream very soon. So if you want to get these free memberships, you've got to get to 1,000 likes now. I'm literally ending in a few moments' time. So get the likes in, people. 150 likes away from getting it done. Most people talk about Arsenal or Spurs fans who don't know what a trophy is, or City fans who haven't supported their clubs for more than 5 years. Behave, Terry. I've seen you at Tesco's in a summer dress and 3-inch heels. Oi, oi. Have I ever dressed as a woman for anything? I don't know if I have. Oh, no, I have to a degree. We did a thing when I was at school where the boys played the girls at netball. But we lost the bet. That was coming up. It was like the challenge things. But we lost something in a PE challenge against the girls, and the boys had to play netball. But we had to wear the girls' version of the PE kit, which is essentially a green skirt and a white top. So we all had to do that. And I always remember the memo came around to the classrooms to all the kids that were doing it, and they were like, "Boys, can you please remember to wear like tight underwear when you're wearing a skirt, or at least some underwear?" Because it turned out a few years ago they did it, and a few of the lads just put the skirts on with no underwear, and it got. Oh, that was funny. That was fun. I didn't see it, but that would have been hilarious. You know what I mean? Boys will be boys. What's the update on De Jong? Well, the latest update on De Jong, I shared this earlier. It's such again, I don't know what it means. Like this is what's been said here from FF Polo. Fairly big account. He very, very trusted journalist here talking to this radio station. He said that Xavi has said that Frankie de Jong is worth it. We don't know what worth it means, but he said that he is a player that he likes, but that there's an economical necessity to sell him. So again, like I said to many people, I don't quite know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means in reality. Does that mean he's staying or going? Like, I want one of these people to give an opinion at the end of it. One of the reasons that I like Oral Dominic is because he gives an opinion at the end of his what is being told. I've been told this, therefore I think this. That's a proper journalist, in my opinion. Put your neck on the line. Do it. Do it. Some of your comments. Terry, have you seen the Liverpool links to that midfielder from Sporting? I have. I've also seen Jurgen Klopp say no one else is coming in, but I don't trust Jurgen Klopp. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean Liverpool do their work so quietly. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if Liverpool do make another signing this summer. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I didn't see that one coming. You know, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But people, we come to the end of the stream. We haven't hit the like numbers. I'm very, very sorry about that. It's not on me. It's on you, man. Do me a favor, though, and smash the like button before you leave. Remember, we are sponsored by Private Internet Access. You should not be on the internet without a VPN provider. You must protect your data at all times. Sign up now. 3 months free, courtesy of the Terrace Plus, and up to an 82% discount. Go and get that done. Until next time, my people, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again.